Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of the First Descendant running on PC.
얻고 싶은 게 있다면 대가를 지불해야지.
Oh, that's right. I need more crystallization catalyst plans. Well, in that case, let's use clay.
사랑하는 내
Let's see, what do I have a lot of? I don't know how popular Swamp Walker is, though. Swamp Walker may not be that popular. We can always solo him, of course. See, what does he give you? He gives you venom. What's this good for? Toxic and tactical assault and poison stacks. I guess that kind of makes sense for him. Maybe he's good for think it's good for Freyna. Although I'm not ready to play Freyna yet. Looks like Parasite Eve. Maybe a little bit. But this is a looter shooter. Or a waifu shooter. But there are male characters in the game, so it's not all just female characters. It just this game happens to. I mean, the female characters happen to be, much better than the male characters. But yeah, right now I'm just farming for specific kinds of equipment. This isn't like the bulk of the gameplay. Well, I don't think people want to shoot the waifu necessarily, usually. Right. I get you. Yeah, this is a nice little game. I mean, it's like a third-person shooter equivalent of Diablo. It's the same kind of game style. Build up your character stats, get new equipment, fight enemies, either big bosses like this or in dungeons. Rinse and repeat. Just keep doing that over and over again. I think I've heard of the game you're talking about. Ah, Mr. Mosquito. I think it was PlayStation 2, right? Yeah, you know, oddly enough, I owned it, but I never played it. It's just one of those games I bought because it looked funny, and then I never actually played the game. Earth Defense Force. Yeah, I could see that. Here, I'll go through one of the regular levels. Yeah, in this case, I'm actually playing multiplayer, so these are all real people. But I'm just playing public games, you know, like I'm not playing with a pre-made group. My friends don't play this game. Yeah, and it's full crossplay, right? Yeah, so Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, it's all mixed together.
어쩌면 매지스터야말로 진짜 인류의 희망 아니겠니?
You know, you have different emotes you can do. Some you can only do here in town, and some you can do while in the game. In this case, they added a feature where you can have a dog, and the dog does stuff for you. I mean, there's a story too, so you play through story mode. To me, this is like the closest thing to the original Phantasy Star Online. To me, it's that kind of game. It even has shares a little bit of the same aesthetic, although the games don't have anything to do with each other. But yeah, playing a team of 4, tackle enemies. Different characters. You have different characters, and they have different strengths and weaknesses, and you have different weapons, which also have different strengths and weaknesses. You level up your characters, level up your weapons. All the the game is free to play, and all the DLC is really just all cosmetics. So like the outfit I'm wearing is a piece of DLC, but again, don't have to buy it because it's a free to play model. People still playing Inez, huh? Yeah, you can see I'm a little bit slower than these other characters. Right, yeah. I mean, this game is once you have your like maximum build, then everybody just speedruns the game. Again, just like Diablo, right? But again, you can play this game fully single player. Like, you don't actually have to play multiplayer at all. If you want, you can set the game type to be single player, and then you just have the whole game to yourself. Oh boy, I got a lot of loot. A lot of loot. I'm sure it's a lot of junk. That's what it looks like so far. Or things that I already have. Or things that I don't want. Which is usually the case. Actually, let's play as Inez. I have to build up her character. She's actually somebody who I haven't fully built out yet. Yeah, I think every game like this eventually just becomes a speed run. Especially after you've spent some time building up your character and making him or her super duper strong. Of course, you know, the game's not going to be much of a challenge to you. If you're doing everything right, at least.
계승자, 작전 지역 도착 확인. 조심해서 진행하십시오.
Oh, whoops.
계승자, 벌거스 구조물 내부에서 아르케 생명 반응이 감지됩니다.
Yeah, I mean, when you first play this game, you know, you'll basically play the single player version of everything here. And then you can, you know, take your time, go through the story, and learn all the mechanics. But after you're done with all that, then you'll play the game like this. Just run as absolutely as fast as you possibly can.
여기는 사령부. 적들의 증언이 오는다. 특별적 타격을 요청한다.
거울의 진화리다.
Vampire Survivors? Sort of. Sort of. Just in terms of like the number of enemies. Yeah, I mean, I sort of maintain that this is like the shooter version of Diablo. It's pretty much the same gameplay loop. You know, just like Borderlands is basically Diablo except with guns.
작전 지역 퇴출 시작. 고생 많았습니다. 계속자.
Yeah, I mean, Diablo, I think that's one of the things that hurts Diablo 4 is that no matter how hard you build your character, you're still only doing chip damage. Unless you're exploiting the game and then they just patch that. And then whatever exploit you had, now you have to play the game like everybody else, which is, you know, slow and painfully. Yeah, and I think part of also what hurts Diablo 4 is that the dungeons are kind of boring.
여기는 하운드 액추얼. 작전 지역의 보이드 농도가 심각하다.
I mean, it's got a little bit of a procedural generation going on, so that's not always the same map. But they all kind of feel like the same map. You know? Like, they don't really feel any different going from one dungeon to another outside of the scenery, you know? You know, enemy types maybe, and you know, how they set dress the walls. But they just feel like the same game. And granted, you know, maybe you can accuse this game of doing that too, but I think the core gameplay is a lot more fun. Yeah, this game is only like 8 months old, so it's still relatively new.
대규모 벌거스 전송 확인. 계속자. 적들의 병력 상태 정리하라.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think part of the appeal of these kind of games is that, you know, you can build an overpowered character. And if you try to make your game too balanced, right, like you know, if it's too level of a playing field between you and the enemy, then that doesn't incentivize you to build up your character, because no matter what you do, you're only going to be so strong. I think the developers of this game understand that you know, people want strong characters. You know, on top of having, you know, women in their bathing suits and you know, men in giant cool armor. But yeah, that's sort of like the central complaint about this game, is that your characters can be too strong. But nobody complains about that as far as like people that, you know, people that actually play this game don't want it so that the enemies are too strong. You know, that's not really what people want when they say if they want balance or something, you know. Usually people say that they want balance because whatever character is their favorite is not as strong as other characters, which is not the same thing as making a game balanced. What people are really saying is, my character is too weak, please help my character be as strong as some other character, not I wish all characters did the same damage. You know, it's two totally different messages. And Diablo is oh, I want balance, and I want everybody to be able to do the same damage, and I want challenge, so I want to make all the monsters have just ridiculous resistances. Yeah, I would say that this is really a game that's geared more towards casual audiences. Of course, you can play the game in a hardcore way, but it's not really meant for people looking for hardcore action. I mean, it's not going to be the same people that play, like Rainbow Six, right? Where the game is, absolutely unforgiving.
작전 지역 탈출 시작. 고생 많았습니다. 계속하세요.
Because most people don't want a game like that. They might want to play an occasional game that's hard, so like an Elden Ring comes along once in a while, and they might like that, even though they may never beat it. They like playing a little bit of it and watching other people play and do naked runs. But those same people wouldn't want every game to be that hard, right? They just want a game once in a while to be hard. But for the most part, most people like games easy. If not outright easier, but on the easier side. And again, if you're investing hundreds of hours into a game, building up characters and building up guns and building up weapons, and completing skill charts, you don't want to have your hundreds of hours show up as 2 damage. Or you don't want your characters that you spent, hundreds of hours on go up against the boss, and the boss is 30 minutes. You have to fight the boss for 30 minutes straight. 30 to 45 minutes. And the damage that you do is, you can't even notice it. Like, people really don't want that. And most people don't. There's a couple hardcore people that do prefer that kind of game, but they're really in the minority. I mean, like, I think this game could be a little harder, but there are modes where the game is significantly harder, if the enemies are harder, and you do that normal kind of tick damage. But I don't necessarily love those kind of levels. I mean, it's okay. I'll play them every once in a while. The really hard content, but I don't have as much fun as when I'm playing the content that is like this, where if I didn't have an overpowered character that I spent a lot of time upgrading and playing with, that I'd be absolutely slaughtered by this game. If I didn't build this character up to do this much damage, this game would be incredibly hard. But because I farmed certain parts, and I spent so much time learning the kind of the ins and outs of how to build a character, that now at this point in time I can enjoy all that work all that work that I put into it. I can enjoy it and just have a character that roams around and kicks ass. But if I'm playing Diablo, if I'm playing Diablo 4, you never get that level of enjoyment, because they're so worried about the game's balance that they sort of sucked all the fun out of it. And the levels are kind of boring.
사령부로 전송. 임무 완료했다. 수송기 지원을 부탁한다.
Yeah, see, 60 minutes. I mean, that was the problem I had with Destiny 1 and consequently Destiny 2. Is that I spent hours and hours building up a character, farming for the best guns and the best equipment, and then I still fight for a full hour or longer on a boss where I do damage that I can't even see. It's like, well, what am I doing exactly? Why am I spending all this much time working on this game if every time I get stronger, the enemies get that much more stronger, and I never feel satisfied. Whereas this game, I feel satisfied. It's like, yeah, I spent a lot of time making this character, and I can use it. I can use the character at the top of their game. Yeah, to me, Destiny is the classic example of that. And then let's say in Destiny, you do find a way for your character to be stronger, as an exploit, some sort of exploit. Then the game gets updated to where the exploit is no longer exists, and now you're not having fun anymore. Final Fantasy Tactics, yeah. Tactics is a little different. That game is hard until you learn how to prepare correctly for a fight. And then it's still hard, but then it becomes it goes from hard to challenging. Whereas something like XCOM, which is in the same genre, I mean, that game is just always hard. The XCOM games, you can do everything right, and the enemy can still wipe you out. But that's also part of the fun of that game, is that you're really not expected to win most of the time. Although newer XCOM games, they are a little bit less difficult, but not by much.
계승자, 벌거스 구조물 내부에서 아르케 생명 반응이 감지됩니다.
Yeah, like I said, I like that idea theoretically. I like the idea that a game levels with you, and so no matter what level you are, the challenge is basically kind of the same for everyone. But at the same time, it's really boring. I mean, that's incredibly boring. If I fight and I start a character at level 1, and it takes me, what, 20 to 60 minutes to fight my first boss and win. I mean, if I go through and I play another 100 hours and I get the same result, it takes 20 to 60 minutes to finish a boss, then I feel like I've wasted my time. It's like I'm not actually stronger. If everything scales to your level, then why are you even playing? No matter what you do, or I mean, why do you even level? No matter what you do, the enemies are always going to, scale to your abilities, and so you'll never be better than them. And if you're never better than them, no matter how much work you put into it, then I say, why am I playing?
임무 종료. 전원 수송기 위치로 이동 바란다. 고생 많았다고 알림.
I could be doing many other things, like playing games where I don't have to, run on the treadmill of the gameplay. Yeah, maybe that's the thing that really bugged me about Diablo 4. I mean, a number of things bugged me about Diablo 4, but that's certainly high on the list. Yeah, I mean, some people play to suffer, but I'm not one of them. I mean, even if I'm playing a hard game, like a From Software game, or if I'm playing, if I'm playing any of those Soulsborne's game, I'm still trying to build the best, most powerful character to take down the hard, the hard games, or the hard enemies. I'm not trying to play the game with the lowest possible character. I mean, some people do that on purpose, but not me. Mecha Break, yeah, I've heard of Mecha Break. I haven't played it yet. Seems like it's popular. I was going to try it on my phone, but I just never got around to installing it.
조심해서 진행하십시오.
여기는 사령부.
Yeah, PoE 2, as I said, I just feel like that game is work. Like, the game is definitely not built around my tastes. I work a 10-hour day. I don't want to work at my video game. I want that to be, relatively stress-free. Or if you're going to make it stressful, at least make it fun. I was losing. Yeah, wow, I know. don't know if that's good. Seems like you're having fun though, so I guess that's good.
작전 지역 탈출 시작.
Oh my god, I'm so tired.
계속.
But I've had a long day, so I might have to call it early. Lose heart to those kind of games. Yeah, I hear you. I agree with you on that. There's a certain level of difficulty which I think is acceptable, but it's a real fine line. Alright, hold on a minute. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, how far are we with Inez? A little over halfway. I'll have to make my way over here. Or maybe we'll do it this way, down this way. What are these, max shield? Better off getting more health and max shield. Let's see, I have 7. What is this? This is good for 1 hour, 5 hours, or 3 days. Well, I think we can stay for an hour. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty tired. We'll see if I survive that long. I was super tired yesterday too, but I've had long days in the office, so that hasn't helped any. And then we have to get up a little early to catch the Switch 2 presentation. I mean, I'm already up at that time anyway, but I'm not necessarily up to watch a presentation. I'm usually just like drinking coffee and reading the news, you know, you know, or you know, practicing my Korean.
여기는 하운드 액추얼. 작전 지역의 보이드 농도가 심각하다. 전원 각자 판단하에 움직이되 무리하지 말고.
I mean, lately practicing my Korean. You know, but. You have a broken schedule? Yeah. Well, here, let me back up a bit. So, I technically have an 8-hour shift, but I end up having to work 10 hours. So yes, I actually don't have a 10-hour shift. I have an 8-hour shift. But I'm a salaried employee, so overtime is, you know, not of consequence. At least according to my company. So yeah, I'm up at many strange hours of the day. And you know, I can be called at any time. Oh, yeah, that is kind of an unusual schedule. I mean, well, it's not a typical schedule, I should say. Maybe unusual is not the right word. Yeah, I mean, I have a typical 8 to 5. Right, but I usually end up working an hour early and staying an hour late, or I end up pulling in another shift, and I basically do 2 shifts in a day, where I'll work in the morning, and then I'll have to come back later at night. I'm pretty well abused in my job. I think most people would look at my schedule and they would say I would never do that. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not like I'm one of the like one of the Chinese developers, you know, where they famously work from 9 to 9, 6 days a week. I'm not that bad. Sometimes it does feel like it, though.
작전 종료 확인. 수송기 위치로 전송 대기 중. 수고했습니다. 계속.
And we used to offer the ability to work from home, but now I don't have that option anymore. So my hours are a little crazier. Oh, it's loading. You can go home early. That's always a nice option. I mean, as long as your boss is okay with a little bit of flexibility.
행운을 빕니다. 계승자.
I mean, I used to have that kind of flexibility, but not anymore. We have a new CIO, and we have new C-level managers, and they all, I don't know. It seems like they were all born in like 1940. It's like, I want everybody in the office, 8 to 5, no exceptions. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. I want you in meetings, in person. Which is, something that we didn't do during the entire COVID era. Made tons of money, tons of profit. People had pretty good work-life balances. Well, maybe better than now, at least. And now everyone has a terrible work-life balance. Okay. Well, that's a good reason to build a good rapport. So you can have a little more flexibility. That's why you should never make enemies at work. I mean, sometimes it can't be helped, but if you can help it, always better to be friends.
어딜 도망치려고.
That's good. I mean, as long as you have a good relationship with your boss.
작전 지역 퇴출 시작. 고생 많았습니다. 계속자.
Actually, no, honestly, like I have good relationships with everyone, but there are definitely people that choose not to have a good relationship with me. You never know. It's always some oddball person in the company that just decides that you know what, they don't like my attitude or my work or whatever. You know, I never really know what the reason is, but yeah, every once in a while I'll just run into somebody that's just not cooperative. It's just like, I don't know what your problem is, you know. We're here to make the company money, not here to stroke our own egos. Yeah, you can't please everyone. Some people just have a natural affinity for conflict and drama. It's just the thing that they want. Yeah, everyone once called HR. Well, that's good. I can't say the same. Although, I was only called to HR because I was dating one of the girls at work. So, so slightly, not because of my performance, just because it was company policy. Which is kind of a weird company policy. It's like you're naturally going to talk to the people that you work with, and maybe if things work out, you may want to date them, but it was not something that was allowed. Well, I say, I'm going to say this. It's like it's something that is not technically allowed, but people date all the time, so it wasn't like it wasn't well enforced. But like I said, you can't please everyone, and there were definitely some folks that were not happy with me dating this particular girl. I don't know I don't know why it was their business, but. It just ended up not working out just for that reason. But that was an old job. I mean, that was years ago. I mean, it's been, 10 years now? Maybe a little bit longer since that occurred. It did teach me a valuable lesson, though, in that some people are very, very friendly until they're not. And you never know what it is that's going to trigger somebody into not being friendly. Jeez, where'd my health go? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have my suspicions on why they didn't approve, but it's hard to say. As I said, some people just love being nosy. It's like none of your business. It's like I'm not a manager, yeah. It's not a power thing. I mean, that I would never do if I was a manager. I would never date somebody that was working for me. That's just kind of a boneheaded thing to do. I mean.
전원 수송기 위치로 이동 바란다. 고생 많았다고 할래.
Yeah. I say that all the time. It's like, I thought you were busy. Why are you bothering me? Yeah, like I said, for me that was over 10 years ago. In my current job, and Chris, I get along with everybody. There are some people that they may have an issue here and there, but generally I'm pretty well respected. Also helps that I have a very specialized I'm in a very specialized field, and there's really only like a handful of people. Well, quite frankly, a handful of people in the world that have the sort of experience and expertise I do. And I just work all the time. I mean, there's very few instances where somebody doesn't see me working outside of office hours. I'm always putting that time in. Although when I say a handful, it's still maybe a couple hundred people. But compared to the thousands of people that work in IT, it's a relatively small number. And I only know this because I've been looking for a replacement because I want to move on from my job, and it's been almost impossible for me to find somebody with the same level of expertise, or somebody that I felt I could train. That was maybe a mid-level amount of experience, mid-level amount of knowledge. I can't even find somebody like that. It's kind of frustrating, actually. It's like, don't people study and do new things with their life? It's like you got to keep your job skills up. But yeah, a lot of people are content with just doing the same thing they've been doing for a long time, or not trying anything new. And it's a real shame. It's like, it's not how you move forward in life. At least in my field. I mean, that's obviously not true for every single kind of job out there. Some jobs you're lucky enough to be specialized and not have a whole lot of things change, but that's not my job. Yeah, it'll be interesting when I leave the company. Like anybody who was maybe unsatisfied with me will unfortunately learn how much time I put into this company. But that's okay. I don't tend to look back at my old jobs and be engaged in the rumor mill. I don't necessarily care what goes on to people, with people after I leave my job, with the exception of maybe some close friends that I make. But not interested in what my rivals are doing. I have way too much on my plate to carry any grudges with me. But I also don't like drama, so that's there's a difference there. Yeah, I mean, I keep in touch with maybe one person from every old job. In general, it's kind of hard to keep up with the new friends that you make and all the old friends that you make. Plus, I'm doing this every night. So I am talking to like a variety of people all the time, and so like I don't feel the need to like latch on to every single person that I'm friendly with all through my life.
작전 지역의 보이드
I
농도가
was like, man, I got a lot of friends. I'm not super worried about running out of them. And if you're a good caring person and not a complete a-hole, then you're gonna run into the same problem, right? It's like I just have a lot of friends. At no point in time do I feel like I'm lonely. Yeah, I feel I don't need to babysit people. They're adults. Let them live their lives. Or at least I hope they are. I generally tend to work with people that are older than me. For whatever reason, it just kind of works out that way. You're the youngest and you've been there for 16 years? Oh, okay. Well, you're surrounded by old fogies then too. Unless everybody started there when they were like 1 year old. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I don't know how important that is to have friends exactly around your age. I guess it kind of depends on what you do, or it depends on like your hobbies and where you feel you are in life. Like I've always felt like an old man, so I've never had like a super strong desire to do young person things. By young person I mean the life of like a typical 20-year-old. Like never had a desire to live a life like that. And while there's nothing wrong with that, of course, you should definitely live the life that you want to live that makes you happy. Going out every night and drinking and trolling strip clubs is not kind of not where I'm at, Like if that's the thing that makes you happy, okay, great, go for it. But I don't want to do that. Yeah, again, nothing wrong with having a drink here and there and having some social drinking. I'll go out occasionally and I'll have some hard liquor, but I like I would never drink at home.
수송기 병력 강화 완료.
Yeah, I think I bought a 12 pack of beer.
행운을 빕니다.
That's been in the fridge for
벌거스 전송 확인.
I don't know, 3 or 4 months now.
그들의 공격 전개를 저지하세요.
I drank 2 beers out of there. Just because I only drink beer when I'm having fried chicken, and I haven't been having fried chicken lately. Smoke and drink, yeah. Smoke and drink coffee. Yeah. I hear you on the coffee. I do like coffee. Although I go through these weird periods where I just don't drink any coffee at all for like a couple months at a time. I don't know why. Every once in a while I just don't drink coffee. I just decide one day not to drink it. Then I go back to drinking coffee. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of like just the idea of just sitting around and kind of relaxing a little bit. You know, not necessarily doing anything, you know, super duper hard. You know, I'm gonna put my brain in park for a minute, because it generally is in drive almost all the time. And like lately I've been wanting to drink black coffee, like I don't even want any cream or sugar or flavor at all. Just straight up black coffee. It's been pretty satisfying to me for some reason over the last couple of weeks. Oh, really? Makes you gag now? Well, hopefully you have something else that you can enjoy. Oh, you had a reaction to the acid. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. That's actually not. That's actually fairly common. I mean, it is kind of a weird drink if you really think about it.
작전 종료 확인. 수송기 위치로 전송 대기 중. 수고했습니다, 계승자.
Yeah. I mean, it does have a lot of acid in it, so makes sense. I mean, when I'm not drinking coffee, then I'm usually drinking tea, green tea. I used to drink jasmine tea, but for whatever reason, I've just kind of fallen out of favor. Now I just drink green tea. Not for health benefits or anything, it's just that the taste is nice to me. You don't like the flowery smelling tea? Yeah, I can see that. Actually, recently, I've been having problems with my throat. Like, that's why you hear me cough all the time. But, or it's not, it's one of the reasons, but I was looking for like soothing tea for the throat, and pretty much all tea that is sort of designed to soothe your throat has licorice in it. You know, black licorice. So I've been trying to get used to the taste of black licorice, but I don't think I can do it. So I've been looking for tea that is soothing for the throat, but does not have the black licorice flavor. And I think I found one tea that's like that, which doesn't have the black licorice, but it sort of has like a very faint licorice taste. It's just not super strong. It's like I just cannot avoid this licorice flavor. I don't know what it is. The black licorice, I mean, that's a thing you either love or you hate. There's no in between. I'm just one of those people that's just not into it. Yeah. Like my parents were into it, and occasionally my mom would make some. She'd make some stew with some black licorice seed in it. And I was like, gosh, I absolutely hate that stuff. Even the smell is kind of funky to me. It's like, I don't know how people do it. Swedish and the Scandinavians, you know. Eating and drinking candy with like black licorice and salt. It's like, it just seems wrong, you know. Skunk tasting, yeah. That's pretty accurate. But I do have friends that love, you know, they love licorice. And like I said, they'll eat the like the salted licorice. I'm talking like a little bit of salt. Generally, those salt licorice candies, or treats or desserts or whatever, they tend to have like a lot of salt. Like, to the point where I kind of wonder if it's even safe to eat. There's so much salt in it. Oh, really? I like cinnamon. But yeah, pumpkin spice has got a kind of a weird, it's a very overpowering flavor. And it's got a weird aromatic to it. Which, you know, obviously some people love. But yeah, unless it's actual pumpkin pie, then I'm usually not too terribly interested in pumpkin spice. And even then, a pumpkin pie is not like the first kind of pie that I would eat. You know, apple pie, yes. Pumpkin pie? Yeah, I mean, but the pumpkin spice latte is like, it's like that flavor with coffee. That makes no sense to me.
작전 지역 퇴출 시작. 고생 많았습니다. 계승자.
Yeah, like, or at least around here, I've seen that the Starbucks around here are advertising like lavender flavored lattes. I'm just like, lavender? It's like lavender coffee. Gonna say no to that. Yeah, I thought it was weird. And the picture on that they show of the coffee, it looks like it has like these little black dots in it. I mean, I think it's just the ice, you know, against the plastic cup. I'm just like, that doesn't look good. It's like, why does my coffee have polka dots? There's no way I'm drinking that. Yeah, I don't even think I have any lavender in my soap, much less in my coffee. Just like there was a little trend a couple years back where people would put they'd mix basil with like strawberry ice cream. Which, again, it's one of those things that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't even know how you would think of something like that. Strawberry basil ice cream. You like basil? You mean Italian basil? Thankfully, that trend is gone now. But for a while, I was seeing it advertised in like the ice cream shops in the area. I was like, is anybody buying this? This sounds terrible. Like, this is a way to get me to not eat ice cream. Next thing you know, they'll be putting onion in coffee. You know, bell pepper coffee.
적 대공망에 빈틈이 보인다. 공중 지원 가능하겠어. 지상병력 신호를 부탁한다.
Oh yeah, I heard about the charcoal ice cream. I think that's just for looks though. Like I don't imagine the charcoal really adding much flavor to anything. Watermelon. Watermelon's like not a strong taste either. Unless you're talking about like that artificial watermelon. I mean, artificial watermelon's pretty strong. Monkeys eat charcoal. Oh, for stomach aches? I think we have antacids for those though. Unless for some reason charcoal is more effective.
계승자, 작전 지역 도착 확인. 조심해서 진행하십시오.
대승자, 대규모 월거스 전송이 확인됐다. 전개 지점을 공격해.
I mean, you know, monkeys do a lot of things which we probably shouldn't do as humans. I don't know, if you're whatever you're eating that causes you to need to have charcoal, you should probably maybe change your diet a little bit. I think you got bigger problems. Salt and sugar and milk and tea. I've heard of everything except for the salt, of course. I mean, salty and is that savory? I guess I'm not sure. Sweet and salty is a thing, but if you're adding cream, then that's like a little savory too. You know, I think the only time I ever put, at least recently, the only time I've put any sort of cream in my tea is if it's a Thai iced tea. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I mean, it's a little different. I wouldn't say it's totally off the mark, you know. It's not like putting, you know, lavender in your coffee.
상경철, 사령부로 전송. 임무 완료했다. 수송기 지원을 부탁한다.
Yeah, sometimes things work. Sometimes weird stuff works. And it is a case-by-case basis too. Like you know, you may not like it, but maybe your friends like it, right? Cucumber and honey. I don't know. Is watermelon expensive? Well, I guess nowadays it would be expensive.
작전 지역
But everything's expensive nowadays.
조심해서 진행하십시오.
Actually, I do know fruit in general is more expensive in Korea. Well, I mean, depending on what fruit it is, but usually most of the tropical fruits are more expensive there. I've just been looking at prices here and there. But you know, there's a fair number of fruits used in desserts and drinks and stuff that they don't grow over there. So it sort of makes sense that they have to import all that stuff, and it isn't necessarily going to be cheap.
주변에 생명 반응이 감지된 아르케 수용체가 있다.
Speaking of cucumber, I did recently have somebody make me a cucumber margarita, which was actually pretty good. I was surprised how refreshing it was. I mean, I wouldn't order it all the time or anything. Having it once was pretty novel. Yeah, it's probably not something I would have all the time, but cucumber and drink, not bad.
임무 종료. 전원 수송기 위치로 이동 바란다.
Of course, I also have cucumber in my hand lotion, so that's a little weird. Yeah, I think for Asian countries, cucumber in a drink is not uncommon. In America, it's a little strange.
여기는 하운드 액추얼. 작전 지역의 보이드 농도가 심각하다. 전원 각자 판단하에 움직이들 무리하지 말고. 벗어날 수 없어.
Yeah, I think we basically use it for, yeah, it's salads or texture, right? When you want something crunchy. Or, you know, we pickle them. Yeah, I think that's really mainly where, you know, the largest use of our cucumbers is for pickles.
주변에 생명 반응이 감지된 아르케 수용체가 있다.
I do love pickles. I know it's not for everybody, but again, as far as like me and if I'm having chicken, I'm usually having it with pickles or kimchi, which is just pickled cabbage, but you know.
하운드 액츄얼, 사령부로 전송. 임무 완료했다.
Oh, inventory's full. Clean this stuff up. That's the problem with the looter shooter. They give you lots of loot. It's like, oh no, I'm not gonna go through all these, am I? I'm just looking for double gold stats on these. It's not double gold. I'm not interested. I have way too many gold, double gold components. It's like I can choose to be picky. At least for now. Maybe I'll regret it later. Yeah, my friend that I go to Korean barbecue with, he doesn't like kimchi. I was like, why are you here then? Eating Korean food without kimchi? That makes no sense to me. Although I do cut my kimchi a lot because I don't like the big chunks of cabbage. I like trying to chew through them. You always end up having the big piece of kimchi with whatever bite you're eating. Oh, pickle papayas are good too. Yeah. Yeah, I think kimchi is like a stronger flavor, but the papaya's not bad. Yeah, kimchis and pickled radishes are good. Kind of clean the palate. Yeah, too much meat can be like a little too much savory, too much fat, you know. Well, I mean, some people don't feel that way. Some people like that feeling. Me personally, yeah, I don't like it. Got to kind of flush it out every once in a while.
여기는 하운드 액츄얼. 작전 지역의 보이드 농도가 심각하다. 전원, 각자 판단하에 움직이되 무리하지 말 것.
I think it's more common in Asia. Like, I do notice that, like, Americans don't mind they don't mind, like, the salt and fat with no, nothing clean in between. Like if you think about like a meal at McDonald's, depending on what you get, you may only get salt and fat, and you may not get any pickle at all. Nothing to sort of break up that super richness. Or typically if you have like a steak dinner, you may get a starch, but you're gonna get the fatty meat with some sort of butter and vegetables. Usually nothing pickled. Think about it. If I go to a typical steakhouse, I don't think they would normally offer anything pickled. Maybe some pickled cabbage every once in a while. Like maybe some sauerkraut. Oh, for Filipinos, standard is vinegar. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Northern Chinese like vinegar too, although it's a different vinegar.
작전 종료 확인. 수송기 위치로 전송 대기 중. 수고했습니다, 대승자.
Oh, coconut vinegar, huh? Oh, that's interesting. I mean, obviously I've had it. I don't normally cook with it. I do like adobo though. but I don't make it, I just order that. I don't have my family never made adobo. I don't have a history with it. Spring rolls, yes. Banh mi, yes. The French style beef stew, yes. Yeah, apple cider vinegar is really strong. That's a hard thing to cook with. Rice vinegar I use on occasion. Yeah. It's not like my number one ingredient though. Depends if I'm making like specific kind of noodle dishes. I'd use rice vinegar. But yeah, it's not like I have like a ton of it everywhere. Complete research, huh? Oh, it's almost time to go to bed. Let's see, so she's at 34. The max is 40. I think that's a good route. Then this square takes 5. That leaves me 1 left over, so I can grab any one of these that I want extra. I think that's good for Inez. You cook almost every day? I cook dinner every day, personally. I cook lunch most days, and then I don't really have a breakfast. I mean, American breakfast kind of sucks. You know? Yeah, and then personally I'm not like that hungry in the morning. Yeah, I think the only thing I have that, I mean, if I do have breakfast, it'll be usually like rice porridge, like a small bowl of that, but that's pretty rare. Like, I don't really make that. I mean, you have to make like a whole bunch of it. You can't just make one bowl of rice porridge. Yeah, lunch is a better meal anyway. Okay, why don't we stop it there? This is meowmurai. You've been watching the First Descendant running on PC. And yeah, it's good seeing you again. This is good talking. Hopefully you have a good luck with your streaming. And yeah, I hope you have fun. Because it can be fun. Doing something a little bit every night. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.